The New York ban on big gulp sodas that are sugary drinks over, sweetened drinks, etc., over 16 ounces in the city of New York. That was passed by Mayor Bloomberg, and it's in court now. And one of the arguments that they're making is, that they're saying, well, okay, granted, we know that this law doesn't necessarily cover everybody that it should cover. There are things like little bodegas and little vendors on the street who are going to be unnecessarily hit by this ban, but it doesn't affect 7-Eleven, for example, because of the nature of the kind of business that they are. They're exempt from this ban. We can talk about the relative idea of whether or not this is even worth it for the anti-obesity campaign that Mayor Bloomberg is running. But what I thought was most interesting about this particular angle on the story was that the NAACP has come out against the New York soda ban, and so has the Hispanic Federation, which is an organization of 100 Northeastern groups, and they say that they're concerned about the impact on small businesses like minority-owned delis and stuff. But we also find out that Coca-Cola last month announced that they were giving the NAACP a $100,000 grant to the national NAACP to support their Healthy Lifestyles program. PepsiCo gave them a little bit less than $10,000 in 2010. The former Hispanic Federation president Lilian Rodriguez Lopez, she is now working at Coca-Cola, and a representative for that firm also has represented Coca-Cola King and Spalding. It seems to me that there might be a little bit of conflict of interest maybe going on. What do you guys think?
I think that Pepsi needs to step up their game if they're getting outspent 10-1 by Coca-Cola.
And
also apparently offering more appealing jobs. I still don't entirely know where I stand on whether or not something like this should exist. I would lean towards, I don't think that a geographic ban on a particular type of product that is otherwise legal, especially if it's still legal in some locations like 7-Elevens. I was weirded out by the fact that some of these chains can still sell it, but like the hot dog vendors can't. That seems a bit odd. I understand that they have much better lobbyists than hot dog vendors do, but it still seems a little bit odd to me. But I think that we do need to do something serious in this country to fight against obesity. I don't know that this is it.
Yeah, no, I agree, especially, one thing that I was questioning when I read this was whether or not it would affect refills, right? Like, sure, you can give somebody a 16-ounce cup, but they can go and pour some more, make it 32 ounces, right? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and one of the things that in their defense, the NAACP, other people have suggested this, so the NAACP did respond to this. Hazel Dukes, the NAACP New York president, she said that nobody buys the NAACP when she was interviewed about this, and she said they are also trying to work against the obesity issue, and that their issue is fairness and that this is unfair. But it sure does look suspicious.
Yeah, I think money was falling out of her pockets as she said that. Look, Coca-Cola and Pepsi are great American companies. They're part of my youth. I love the polar bears, like sledding and stuff, and then popping open a Coke or something. That's all great, but we're beyond doubt now. These are bad for people. That doesn't mean that they should be illegal. And I'm extremely uncomfortable at best at banning things like this. Like, I even find it weird when universities ban products like this. I think it's a little bit more reasonable when elementary schools and high schools ban it. But an entire geographic location, that makes me uncomfortable. But we need to do something as a country, because while the actual physical effects of drinking soda is just on the individual, the healthcare cost effects of it is something that's distributed to everyone. It's like smoking. There are effects outside of your own body. And so I don't know entirely what we should do. I know that these organizations representing minority groups, some of which have obesity rates even higher than the American average, which blows my mind, are doing something about it. I don't think that they should be getting tied up with these massive purveyors of unhealthy
Right, is this
drinks.
the right mechanism? I think we all can agree that obesity is a problem in the United States, and we do need to do something about it, because we're going to have a long-term problem when you find that elementary school children, for example, right now have a way higher obesity rate than has ever been in the United States demographics, and that has long-term consequences. These kids are being set up for diabetes later on, and diabetes is a very expensive, long-term chronic ailment that costs the healthcare system a a lot of money. And when people don't get the kinds of information that they need to make good dietary choices, we also know that in minority areas that there are fewer grocery stores, there are fewer fresh fruit and vegetable vendors. So often they're more expensive. So junk food is really what's the most affordable food. It is the cheapest food in America right now. It is subsidized by taxpayers via the agriculture system. So here we are, we're sort of subsidizing on the front end with our agriculture, and then we are subsidizing on the back end, having to pay for health care. And it seems like somewhere in the middle we ought to be able to figure out something a little bit more effective than just saying, hey, here's a soda ban, don't drink that soda, but by all means, go in and get 4 or 5 sodas and then you're fine. It doesn't seem like this is the right mechanism.